goodness. Minnow, whose duck is that? There's not a duck left. There's just a rope. Whose duck is that? All right, whose rope is that? Whose rope is that? Whose rope is this? Is this your rope? Is this your duck? There's nothing left of the duck anymore. There's just a rope. Is this your rope? It's my rope. It's your duck. Whose duck is that? Oh my goodness. Whose duck is that? Oh no. Whose duck is that? There's nothing left of this duck, just a rope. Is this your rope or is this my rope? Well, there is a knot on either end of the duck that's no longer there. Is this your duck or my duck? Is this your rope or my rope? Is this your knot or my knot, What? There's no duck left. This used to be a duck. Now it's just a rope. What? There's a duck shell. It's got a little stuffing in its forebrain and bill. That's it. It's missing a wing. Minnow's reduced it to shreds. Shreds and threads. Without a hem. Now we just have a rope. A T-rope. Is this your rope or is this my rope? Is this your duck or is this my duck? Is this my knot or is that your knot? Okay. Started the video again. I was at work yesterday. Had lots of appointments, so I was online on Twitter, and then I had work, and the appointments increased, and but I was able to understand that there was an appreciation of a wave, and I wanted to acknowledge that. So I didn't know exactly what it was for until I got back and I could see the news. And yes, parted the wave. P-A-R-T-H-E-W-A-V-E. With ave, with H, with have, W parentheses E, A-V-E, with wave, with weave, with H, E-A-V, heave. With he-ven, D parentheses, S parentheses, name, dame, same, parentheses, N-D, same end. Parentheses, H-O-C-A-M-E. a couple ways there. Camel, the camel, came two L's. L over L. Came, amend. What camed, what came and camed can amend itself. Came, C-A-M-E-A, parentheses, N-D. Honey, done on one eye is hone on one eye. I-D. Anyway, those are my thoughts, and I have intuited that that was fortuitous, what you saw, and I'm acknowledging that, and there's more on tap. What else? Studying hysterectomy, making sure this is, you know, I'm scheduled for the surgery 9/11, and part of what I say studying is really feeling confident that this is necessary and it is the right way forward. It seems to me that I could dick around with surgeries that aren't yielding the results. So I've done endometrial polyp surgery and fibroid surgery, and you can take estrogen, progesterone. You're not supposed to take it more than 5 years because of risks. I think some of those risks are cancer causing. Some chemicals deplete your bone mass, which to me is just setting yourself up for another sort of injury, you know? So I'm just feeling it. Mostly I want to be certain, you know, I've checked balances so that performing this, I don't go back and question. You know, well, you could have tried that, you could have tried that, I could have waited. It's a possibility I could have waited. Last time, going through 2 10-hour pads, so I wore 10-hour pads, 2 of them, and I got about 2 hours out of them. So, and I've already had anemic IV transfusion, so that was like, holy hell, I don't want to do that again, especially when my period doesn't end. So far, this is not a heavy period, but I can't really say when it started or when it stopped. So that brings me to the other thing, as far as fixing the problem, nipping it in the bud, is even after you could take drugs to push you into a menopause, but it's my understanding that a woman can still bleed abnormally. So even after menopause, I could still have this problem of bleeding. So it's really like, you know, trying to suss out how things are going to change. You know, I'm sure I get to keep my ovaries, so my hormones will be, you know, the same, I would imagine, but I'll ask the doctor about that. So that's what I had that appointment today, pre-op. I'm on the fence, honestly. I'm a bit on the fence between fixing the problem, but I'm not holistically thinking in terms of the long term of dealing with a hole in my bucket. So I suppose at some point all of me is going to get firmly on board, like, let's just fix the problem. Okay? You know, it is what it is. Part of the journey, is it necessary? I have questions about meta. I have sincere questions about cancer when we can't see the answer, you know. And cancer isn't my problem with my uterus. It's just won't stop bleeding. So, in between the polyp, which I no longer have, but then they discovered the fibroid, which was pretty darn big, a big stalk from the back of my uterus. My best guesstimate with 2 surgeries, where 5 centimeters was removed, then another 5 centimeters, then another 3 centimeters was left. That's a pretty big stalk of a fibroid. Especially when I look at the size of what a uterus is. I'm like, anyway. Are you worried? There's a lot that's up in the air. You know, like I said, I could sit on this. I'm reading that, but you know what? I didn't go to the gym last time because I was taking 3 showers before I headed out the door, changing my clothes all the time, because I get maybe 10 minutes out of a super tampon. So it's like, I'm not going to the gym because I'm leaking. Is what that comes down to. You know? It's not comfortable to be like, oh, hold the pad, you can hold that. Sorry, women's issues. This is quite an introduction to me. I've been a person that generally doesn't go to the doctor because, you know, I live my life by the book. By the book in terms of how to be healthy. Okay, go practice it. And I'm not saying this is a failing. I think there is a curious meta between my opportunities to see the doctor this year, even the 2 bunions on my left foot. You know? Yeah. So I was actually thankful to get that sort of feedback yesterday that you acknowledged a value and a parting of the waves. And quite ironically, I should be getting my EDDM, Every Door Direct Mail flyers today so I can work on distributing them before the hysterectomy surgery, because I'm not going to be able to lift up 15 pounds, they say, for 6 to 8 weeks. So won't be going to the gym to lift weights. I've already bought plenty of dog food, big dog food, so I don't have to lift it when it comes. I could just scoop for Minnow. So Minnow's got, he's got a selection down there. I'm going to the grocery store, buying things in advance. I've got plenty of chai and biscotti. What else? I've got goodies galore, and the always easy, lovely, basic bean soup. You know, just trying to think forward provisionally. What else? Yes, buying hydrogen. I think I'm going to buy that hydrogen. I knew about the product. I've consumed it before when I was an athlete. I didn't notice much of a difference, but I was also taking a lot of, well, I was trying a lot of supplements at the time, so that was my reservation with purchasing it again. A reason to buy it, the Mega Hydrate, the hydrogen, is because after surgery, I want to aid healing and detoxing, you know, as naturally as possible, but efficiently. And so that was a pro to buy it. Also, that I understand it aids in feeling pain. So it's like, well, you know what, that might be nice, because 6 to 8 weeks out, I don't know, you know, I've not had, I'm presuming removing an organ is major surgery. So, you know, want to try and tip the scales towards a better follow through, you know, a less how do I want to say? I would rather not default into something that's laborious, you know? Let's get this on track, not trying to push things, but avail the opportunity. So, to heal. And so I was thinking that might be a good thing. But then I remembered, shoot, for the price, I didn't feel a difference. But I think I'm going to buy it. Quite ironically, I'll be buying other hydrogen potential with the EDDM, and I'm going to deliver it where I had planned on. And I've had a conversation with someone who knows my line of questioning, so I was trying to figure out where to send it. I've already had that in the works as an intention, and I think it's an interesting placement, all things considered. I'm feeling optimistic. I had to sit out. I won't say I had to sit out. I did sit out yesterday. A couple of reasons. I had morning, afternoon, late afternoon appointments, had a wee break, and then I went back to work to see the dad of the family and give him a treatment. So everyone could get on the same page at the same time. Meaning his family was treated earlier, and he was at work, you know. So that was really my choice to understand, yeah, I'm willing to slightly go out of my way. I live close to work. I'm willing to go home and go back. I'm definitely willing to do that. I understand the value. Get you guys on the same page today, you know. So, so I sat that out. Then I've had a little tickle in my throat, and it's about 5 days. Curiously, the clients at work yesterday all had the same sort of tickle. and little congestion sort of thing, but it's not a cold. But I'm asking them, like, hey, you sound like me. Is it allergies? It seems like such a odd time of year to have allergies due to pollen or something, I'm not sure, or a cold. Again, it's an odd time of year, and yet everyone that came in had that as well. So I can't explain it. So I was coughing last night, but it's not a cold, not yet, but this is like day 5, so I'm waiting for it to develop, or, go away. I don't know. Just trying to figure it out. I did sit yesterday out. I sat it out because there's a change afoot. There's a parting of the waves, and you acknowledged it first, and then I sussed it, and I'm like, oh, I get it. So it's a change of opportunity to ride the wave. Well, you were aware of it while I was at work, and I was curious about the emotions you were feeling, so I figured it out. You poor thing. You poor thing. You're afraid of showing emotions and not emotions with hyphens. It's so funny now to think of the stag, the ta, the ag, as not actually capable of being first here. But we can see clearly that is y'all's rue-vain-d dof-t's problem. It's not the missus. Sorry. So with right eye and stow the time as well, S parentheses T O W E R E Y E I D. Bring your feast with your feet. F E A parentheses S over S T. Oh, when you're ready. Re-add the I and the D parentheses H E Y E I D. It's kind of nice to talk this out, and I'll tell you why. Because I think part of my reservation with the hysterectomy is nostalgia. But when I talk this out and I see that you're afraid of honest emotions, there should be no nostalgia of losing my fucking organ that would carry a womb with OMB. There's no nostalgia, okay? I'm being necessary to myself, and there should be no pity that I don't have a uterus to carry anybody, apparently, okay? Obviously, your emotions don't care or carry e-value. The e-value, T-H-E-V-A-L-U-E-W-E-A-D. Get tooth, HD. Head, hand, high definition. H-ave-v-n-d. Dob, date of birth. Dob, obviously, okay. With the thirst, th parentheses f, hf is half, first, thirst, first t. The trees, fir, apostrophe st, time to complete versus compete for no reason, defend. So that's nice. It's nice to talk it out because that rectifies it, you know. Basically, I've had a hole in my bucket. It's perhaps it's still on the table to question, you know, the reflection. It's inbreeding this problem of a hole in my bucket. But I'm doing what I can. Seeing how there's, you know, all you have is false elan -d. So there's nostalgia, you know, I think for me that's really assessing my last parsing and partition of questioning, you know, hysterectomy is, and I'm questioning it for me to get a well-rounded appraisal of going forward so that I just face forward. You know, I don't want to be questioning after the surgery, was this the right thing? I want to bring myself to the surgery knowing we go forward because forward is what we have. Okay. You know, even to work with, all right? Even if that's just my own reflection. It's what I have. I don't want to be questioning other possibilities after it happens because I do not feel that that is a healthy, well-rounded gesture. The sussing should take place in advance of all the facts that I can gather at the time. At the time, I'm not seeing any answer on the horizon. And honestly, I'm not so sure, even if I did, that that would rectify what is now apparently my problem of bleeding, you know? So, I'm left with an illusion of independence. I can produce my value. I can reproduce my value. And I don't know much about beyond that. That makes you happy. But you think that I'm tricking you. It makes you happy for me to say that, but you think I'm tricking you. Well, I could show you the value of your trick. I could take everything down and you could go back to sucking your own dick, -t. That would be compatible to your gesture, G- parentheses U- E- S over S T- UR -D, you're red. You're red financially, in the red, it's hyphenated. Therefore, you send the trial balance B-LACK-T. right into your tin and tine and hind, hyphenated, nad and dad, advanced. Seated dof-t, ce-d-h-e-v-e-n-d. So you deadhead and seed. You retreat dof-t. By never being the value you would speak for the. And speaking GF, girlfriend, speaking for reward with AREAD. Okay? Jacked off to toot-toft. Tap, apparently. Ye eat the testate of the h-ave-n-d to get your current lend and your tin and your hinge v-ven-d. Debt again. Hyphen. So really, what you're suggesting to me is I probably should be upset at you for stalking me with no reason to ever tap roof. I'm choosing not to be angry with your bullshit because I frankly don't think it's healthy for me. I'm sure you'll get some sort of kickback for sitting on your arse. VEP-purse. P-arse as you see dof-t. He-a-rt-h-d-. Your hearth's dof-t. That's who you love, okay? And that's who you bed. B-e-d, do of. And do of -t-h-d. You do of and you vet the head that would also hyphen do of. That's how you're keeping your dough hand hyphenated. You only play with other hyphens. Your market economy is bullshit. You counterfactually and factually ag-greed dof-t to you toe with WOO-D-S-C-R-EWE-D. You agree that dof-t would screw. It would toe with the would, you would, -D, screw. Screw the U, hyphen, to dudes, spursuits. And pursue what? -T-U, T-O-Y-E. To toy wood. Woo, W-O-O-D. You would, dough hand doffed again. V-ven-d. It's very obvious, okay? You have no moral compunction. The only value of being married is to look like you do. Okay? You do not give an honest shit. You do not give an honest fuck because you didn't give an honest fuck. Event through. Your hue, your black and white, put some quotations around that, is bullshit. Delight and blight. B-L-I-G-H-T. You don't have follow through. You don't have the means to. You're not one-on-one. even to, and you don't care to. Unless you want to. So let's see. I'm going to be buying some hydrogen. I'm optimistic. It may have nothing to do with you. And that's where the chips, the chips will fall where they may fall. So I want to see how I'm not going to be able to lift 15 pounds for 6 to 8 weeks. I want to get the EDD out because I have to carry more than 15 pounds to get it to a postal service for delivery. So I wanted to do that before the 11th. So I took yesterday out because I noticed a shift, and with the shift there's an opportunity how to go for reward, and I was being with that. I don't know, maybe I should make a little note. I had a little conversation the other day about the girl in the shop who's basically ground zero. She's got so many bugs in her head that she can populate everyone in this town and probably beyond to have lice. And I questioned, the home environment. Well, lice is not a stigma in terms of cleanliness because lice like clean heads. The amount she has in her head that fall out, that were speckled on her t-shirt when she walked in yesterday, is how do you not notice that? And how does someone looking at you in your home not notice that also? And there was, this is my second time treating her, and I'm surprised I didn't see her sooner because I knew she was going back to that home environment. So her grandma got her out of it to treat her, and apparently the mom was like, oh, I'll treat the siblings, and I asked the grandma how, I don't know, because Maine's a superbug state as far as lice goes. And it's my concern even with treating her because she had so many bugs. I threw out 4 combs, 1/2 inch down full of bugs, 1/2 inch high. I'm like, I'm not cleaning that. Threw out 4 of them, and I used 4 this time also. I did clean them. I took a box cutter knife after I soaked them in barbicide, the blue chemical. I took a box cutter knife and I just had to start trying to hack the shit out. We'll probably go through several cleanings. I got the major, I finished her treatment. I took my shoes off and I had to wipe eggs out of the soles of my shoes. Thankfully this time Grandma put dimethicone on, and so things weren't moving, which is great. But last time she had them in her ears, bugs and eggs. I'm like, Grandma, okay, so I believe in this treatment. We use heat and to dehydrate the eggs. I believe in the follow-through because we provide a guarantee. I said, but if this was my head, I would not consider it sufficient because of the amount of bugs that fell on her and in her shirt. I'm concerned she has hitchhikers. And so Grandma had bought a new a new set of clothes. She went in the other room to put them on, came out. There were live bugs on it already, and that's when I saw that she had eggs and bugs in her ears. And I'm like, oh, didn't treat the heat in her ears. Okay. So, I was going to give Grandma dimethicone, 2 ounces, to like treat her again in 1 or 2 days in case she has hitchhikers. But she bought a bottle, and then she had a bit extra. So when she picked up the granddaughter from school, she put it in her hair right away, which was nice, because for me doing the treatment, it meant that I didn't have to treat myself. But again, back to Grandma, I'm concerned about your environment. You can see the bugs on her, okay? And now you're taking her to your home. And to be separate from her mom, because her mom forgot to enroll her in high school. Among other things, okay? And so talking to the girl, I asked her, when did you find out that you had bugs? Or I asked her if she was itching. She said not until just recently. But when I'm doing her comb out, I told her, I said, I find it hard to believe that you just recently started itching. So why I asked her if she itched, and if she itched last time, because not everyone itches with lice. There's a little toxin in their saliva, and when they make a blood meal of your head, they put a little toxin in, like a mosquito. But unlike a mosquito, only about 50% of people are allergic to lice, so not everyone itches. So I asked her if she itched last time. Yes. So did you itch this time? Oh, not until just recently. But I'm pulling out just, I'm pulling out the United Nations. Okay, and so I'm like, I find it hard to believe that you just noticed, one, you had lice, because I'm sure there were bugs on your pillowcases and your t-shirt, etc., and that you just started itching. So with her being my second time, I'm able to suss out that she normalizes the abnormal, and that she is accomplice in lying to preserve the tine hyphenated would equal the presence of sublime and therefore not questioned. Our emotions have equanimity, can't you see? For no reason, t-hie-ven-d, you didn't bring anyone with one eye, even. Okay. So what else I can suss with her having had to very industriously apply myself? She had more than one egg on per strand of hair, which produces a lot of tension getting a tight-tined lice comb through. And at some point, she's treating me as if I'm being abusive to her, and I'm like, you know what? You're theoretically going to a new school. There are people that know what lice looks like, and you're going to look unsavory with those eggs, with a gazillion eggs. So I'm going to try and get that out for you as best I can. The other is, I didn't give you lice, so please don't refer to me and my work as callous. And your grandma didn't give you lice either. Grandma's trying to get her out of that cycle. So, well, the other day, I commented, I was kind of going on and on about just, the girl to me seems ensconced in getting by without ever paying an honest dime. doesn't know what a dime is, and is in that she's gets to feign awareness through her parents that don't pay attention, or whoever is the head of her household. She's lazy. So my suggestion to grandma was, get a comb. So I sold grandma a comb. Have your daughter or your granddaughter, have her still comb her hair, okay, to get those eggs out. Also, the comb for your daughter, considering her propensity to have that much lice, is a great safeguard and adjustment to use. I explained some parents check every week. They check their kid's head with a comb. This is how you do a comb out. Get your wet napkin. Graze the head. Put down the hair shaft. Wipe it on the wet napkin. Contents will stick to a wet napkin. Showed her what eggs look like. You got brown, you got white. White is an eggshell. It's already hatched. But the glue is good in the sense that it stays glued to your hair. So it's going to grow out with your hair. And what I don't get off your scalp, where the eggs lay, as the hair grows, they're going to lift and they're going to become more visible. So it's good visual hygiene, since she has a lot of eggs, to comb them out. And also it's a great preventative to do a head check to catch something when it's little versus utterly obvious. Like, here, have a nation. I can share. What else? The daughter balked. The granddaughter, she balked. I can't do that. I can't comb it. And she's kind of already a little pudgy and ungainly she told me she's 13 now. So I was like, you're lazy, aren't you? You've never had to kind of exercise your will. Not your ill, but your will. Will the effort for you, even, still, till. Not ill, not t-hie-ven-d. And so I was waxing my disgust to some extent the other day, talking on EarthCam, like reflecting on this person, like if this were my child and that they were a podling from the labyrinth, you suck the life force out of you. If my kid were a podling, I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't want to be barnacled to this upbringing of someone that was lazy. I did reflect on, I think, my feeling of disgust is based on my belief. I don't believe in this person because she's going to go back to, okay, in quotation marks or hyphens. I don't believe in this person, and that's why I have disgust. Because no matter what I do, she's going to go back to. She's going to fall back to. And, then I reflected on, wow, if this were my kid, fuck. I said on the EarthCam, I'm like, I would die. I would kill myself so I don't have to be responsible for the blob, the amorphous, single-celled blob on perp pose, And I think there's, that's me unfiltered. As far as a greater meta, that's why I'm repeating it again. Your false, creating a false third person that's doffed as yourself, you need to consider your God that's doffed as yourself. I'm here to let you know, doesn't care for you to be doffed, okay? Thief and through. So you need to knock your shit toffed, honestly. Even, then, venerable, vend, take it to the market, D-E-W-E-A-D. D parentheses H-E-W-E-A-D. Det tool, lend. I created the tool, T 0/0, L, parentheses B, E, parentheses N, D. So the tool, lend and lead, tool, every pound, LB, bend, and bed. H-ave-n-d. O-h-ave-n-d. D-O-H. So when we talk about people rising, their dough rising, I'm innocent to the straight trade. I want you to know all you're speaking right now is hyphenated, S-trait, hyphen. All right? Your Bible bled dof-t, dactyly aware, never happened. It never happened. You can see that through my parallax. The competitive marketplace is not producing zero innocence in reflection, nor can it, N-I-T. It was never meant to be even, or event through. So you need to understand that also. The Tao with war, that the ag, for no reason, restores the sore, to freed and feed dof-t, fief-en, name and amor, to adore, that's hyphened, is squatting on women, W-O-M-E-N-D, universally, fief-en-d. So you can stand your value for completion, and there's going to be no one for you to talk to in the law, hyphen. Okay? The law is providing the nail son to sell the screw to talk 2 by 2, hyphenated. Okay? And to screw the U to dude's pursuit. So you're faking what you would do, but presently speaking, as the present prescient client, tone, hone, roan, that's your gutter of the eaves, of your eaves, even, and one, throne. We can see no one's stepping up, so this is not your value anymore to speak of. You can't speak of, I would have, when the time is now. And to speak thief-en is to steal now. For the thief-en's prow, P-R-O-, where your zero innocence and reflection is always in question, and you put that question on women, X, 1 and 0, Roman numeral, X is also the women's chromosome, and I'm putting it back on every fucking man. To look at your competitive marketplace for no reason, thief-en-d. You have not produced the value, E-W-E-A-D. You have no license to screw. You can't amend a value you've never given to. You can't pip and prig height that you would have when the time is now, and it's always been now. What we can see, why you deflect to would have, so you can keep having that third person, creating a presence that's as dof-t as your God, as you are, is so that you can cover up the fact that you can't honestly, one, earn a dime in value, given time. You can't produce it. You can't afford it. Okay? We need to understand that. You can't step off of your Tao with war and all your ass associations that are hyphenated and have income. And if you can't have income, I-N-N-C parentheses H-O-M-E parentheses N-D. You can't mend. You can't mend zero value that you've given from yourself. Self, L-A-W-A-R-E. Self-aware. And your law, where L is the right angle to love, because you brought two, even, do of. I'm hoping everything's going to be right with the hysterectomy. I'm getting a little kind of tweaked in consciousness. This will be the third time I'm go to surgery in 1 year. That's kind of a lot for me, period. But I'm kind of like, all right, you know, ready for something? It's just a lot. And I question the lot is all. Also acknowledging that I didn't know this, but fibroids and such are hysterectomies. It seems they're fairly common for women, and I never knew that. And I'm not trying to normalize the meta that I see, because I do question that in the dark, D-A-R-K-T, I do. You know, I do question that. I question that in my own reflection of what is seen as reality, you know. So, that said, it's conceivable I'm existing in two times and places to be T parentheses U B R-E-A-D, to tread and bread, trial balance, TB, tuberculosis, take your pick. Also, T parentheses B R-E-A-D, tread and bread, the same value. About your dough rising, your H is hydrogen, anatomically speaking, even. That's the chemical value, or that's the anatomy of self-definition, even. I've given H. H is hydrogen. It's the most abundant element in the universe that doesn't actually exist on Earth. You need to breathe it honestly first. That is my contention. T-hie-ven-d, and your H is what you read independently, but we need to consider what's being written for no reason, t-hie-ven-d. You're not bringing two. If you're carrying a gun, you don't reason even, and I can presume you don't want to. So your desire that you speak from, R-O-M, is a malfeasant construct on purpose. You prefer dof-t because you are dof-t. And the value of dof-t is you can get laid by extending no real effort. So it's all a sham. You've extended no real effort and you do not want to. You reason with a gun, but that isn't reason, even. Even, parentheses D, O-N-E. N-O, that's a number as well. On no one, done. Do on one, 0 over 1. So I work with the primary number 1 and 0 as a basis of relationships. A prime number gives back the value you're divided into. And I would see this parallax as that I've constructed the framework and fretwork of h-ave-n, speaking through the gaps, as producing your H to tread on and be read on, okay, and the trial balance that you desire to make that you can't make in the competitive marketplace for no reason, thief-end. For no reason, for no treason. There's no treason because you're not having one among you that you Jewed and glued, hyphenated, to wed dudes, spur suits to wet to you, toy wood, hyphen through, okay? So that's how that trick is mastered and masturbated. It's to two-toft, it's to hand-doft and two-toft, to-ought to two-toft, hyphenated, where stupid says, you know, believe in toft, the rich person's money, but your money isn't virtue. Because you've never given real value. You're just staging law awareness and ta awareness. T-A-W, soak. Your tannins, H, ha awareness, your third eye, those are all hyphenated. To get a bid, bide, and get a bid, bride. Also hyphenated. To deliver time, that's hyphenated.